I'm going in for Netflix shows. I'm going in for Disney. I'm going in for HBO. Like, you never know how the world is going to give you everything you've ever wanted. It might be wrapped in different paper. It might not have the color bow you thought it was going to have on top, but life can give you the gifts that you have always asked for. They just might look a little different. Episode 1. Here we go. Do I do like half and half? You know what? Oh my gosh, are we about to do a podcast? Hey y'all. Welcome to Beywatch, a podcast for real life actors, whether you are a series regular or you are just trying to survive your next full body slate. My name is Chris Bey. I'm an actor, singer, dancer based out of Los Angeles, California. I've had the privilege of being on Disney Channel, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, CBS. I've done commercials, I've done musical theater, and I don't even know what, but I'm sharing some of the things that I've learned in my journey to help make yours a little bit easier. Remember, this is your dream. Don't forget to enjoy it. Okay, episode 1. Y'all, I have been wanting to start a podcast for honestly years now. It has been on my things to do list every year for a few years now. So I'm so glad we are finally able to check it off. I finally feel like this is the right time too, because in the last few months, I feel like I've built a nice community of working actors. You guys have really responded well to the acting content I've been putting out on socials. Thank you so much. And some of y'all have been like, where is the podcast? Where are the vlogs? Where is longer form content that I can tune into? Well, here we go. It's here. It's here. Now finally felt like the right time. I posted on socials. I said, what do y'all want to hear about? If I'm going to do a podcast, what do y'all want? Who do you want to see on it, right? But one of the main things you guys said you wanted from an episode, and it makes sense to be the first episode, is a lot of you asked, Chris, what did you do? How did you get your start? How did you get into the industry? What was your journey like? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still on this journey. This is hard. Oh, this is hard. It is a very trying journey, but I would not trade it for the world. So the first episode 1 of Beywatch, is going to be about my journey, how I came out to LA, how I got involved in the acting industry, singing, dancing, everything, and how it's all rolled into one crazy journey day to day. So make sure to subscribe, stick around. If this works for you, take what you need, leave what you don't. But when I asked a lot of you guys, what do you want to see on the podcast? Who do you want to see? Who do you want to hear from? Some of you guys said you would love if I could have my agent on here or my manager. You would love to hear from casting directors, other actors who are in the industry, people who are working commercially, singers, dancers, people in theater. So all of that is coming. A lot of you guys said that you wanted to hear how I got my start, how I became an actor. But you don't become an actor. You're always an actor. If you're auditioning or if you have the passion for it, you're an actor, But no, how I came out to LA, how I started auditioning, how I got my reps, everything. And I feel like the timing is really perfect because I feel like last year was the first year that I was able to act full time. It was the first year in my life that I had no 9 to 5. I had no side job. But in all transparency and keeping things the way I like to keep them, we are keeping it real. I have a day job again. I was performing full time. I had filmed a movie. I was on Disney Channel. I did 2 co-stars, one of them for Netflix. I was literally working enough as an actor to not have a job on the side. With that being said, it was also the year I just did my taxes. So I know this. I made the least amount of money working full time as an actor that I have doing a 9 to 5 job. I work in social media. That's what I do for my 9 to 5. And it's fun, it's creative, it's fulfilling, but it's not what I moved out here to do. It's not what I left my family on the other side of the country for, It's funny too, because I feel like a lot of people always say oh my gosh, Chris, you're killing it. You're really on top of the world. Oh my gosh, you're booking everything you touch. Fam, I have not booked in almost a year. It has been, I think the last thing I booked was August or September of last year. So yeah, it's that's the thing, right? And that's what I really want to talk about. And that's what I try to stay so true to on social media, is that people are always well, I want what this person has, or everyone's booking but me, or I'm not getting any auditions and everyone's getting so many. Just stop looking to your left and your right, because if you really want to do this, right, if you really have your eyes on the prize and you really are I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be a creative, I'm going to be a dancer, a singer, no matter what, then keep going, because the lane that you're in has nothing to do with homegirl on your right or homegirl on your left, because you have no idea what they've been through, what they've sacrificed. You have no idea what their day-to-day journey is. So also keep in mind, you see people's wins because you're looking at their social media. They're not posting the in-betweens. They're not posting their lows. They're not posting the really hard days. You see booked, busy, and blessed because it's what we do. It's what we put on social media. We put the positive, fun stuff because that's what we want people to see, right? So just always keep your eye on your own prize in your own lane and like really, really keep refreshing your perspective so that you don't get lost in this craziness of comparing yourself to everyone else, because the grass will always be greener. But girl, it might be poison ivy over there. You don't even know. But let's get into it. We're going to talk about how I got my start. So if you don't know me personally, I am from New Jersey. I'm an East Coast boy. I used to be back over there in New York taking NJ Transit right into New York City at 5 in the morning for auditions, waiting on the unofficial list, and then they don't even take it, and you're at these open calls hoping you get seen. I don't know if you guys ever had to do that, but if you never did like theater auditions in New York City, I'm going to be so real with y'all. I don't think I can ever audition like that again. After living in LA and being able to do 4 or 5 auditions in a day from right here, my kitchen is right here. I am in my apartment. People are like, you have such a big setup. Girl, the fridge is right there. My fridge is right there. You could probably hear it. I don't even know. But again, like I said, everything is not what it seems. I was really, really shy as a kid. I didn't perform in front of other people until high school. My sophomore year of high school, I auditioned for the school musical because I forced myself. I was like, Chris, you can't not perform for anyone and then be like, I want to be a famous performer. I want to be an actor, singer, dancer. For who? Because you're not showing nobody. You haven't shown anybody what you can do. And I feel like that really rings true to a lot of people today. It's like, I want to do this, I want to do this. Well, get up. This time is now. I feel like I started late. I started it as sophomore year of high school in high school theater. That was my intro to this. But I started in the theater. My sophomore year, I had one line in the musical. I don't even know what it was. It was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was one of the brothers. Ooh. The brothers meaning like he has 12 brothers. Don't be like that. He has 12 brothers in the show, and I was one of his brothers. I wasn't like... Oh, this is gonna be something. And I had one line, and you know what? It just really, I think this is still true about me. I'm crazy, so I don't like to be new at things. I don't like to not be good at things when I first start out. Anytime I've gotten a new job, I hate training for it. I just want to be good at it and know everything I need to know and not have to depend on anyone. That's something I'll probably unpack in therapy. I'm a Sagittarius. I don't know if you guys know anything about that. Tell me about myself. But by the end of high school, I had done multiple leads. I was choir section leader. I was choir president. So then fast forward, I'm out of high school. I am a college dropout. And because I dropped out of college, I didn't get into their theater program, and I was going undeclared, and I sat at school for I think I took 2 classes, and I don't know, I kind of freaked out and was like, I can't do this. I can't sit here and give so much time and energy to something that I don't even think I want to be doing. I don't want to put my energy. School was just not for me. I made it 6 days, y'all. And I hopped right on that train. And because of that, I feel like I really had something to prove now, because that was it. That was it. I was like, I'm not in high school anymore. I don't know what to do. I need to somehow get the ball moving. And none of my family was in the entertainment industry. No one I knew was in the entertainment industry. No one around me was trying to get to where I was going, which I don't know, if you're in that position now, it can feel crazy when you have no idea how to get auditions, how to even begin acting, how to really turn this thing into a career. It can feel so crazy when we already have to worry about if we're good enough, if we're talented enough, how attractive we are. All of that stuff runs through your head. You know what I mean? We can say it doesn't, but it really, really does. So to also not have a community or people that understand where you're trying to go, you don't know where to step. You don't know where to take that first step. So that's why I'm really glad that I've been able to build this community on social media and Instagram and message you guys and talk to you guys and really hear about what it's like being on the ground as an actor or an entertainer. But so anyway, I was auditioning so much. I was auditioning like crazy for anything I can touch. Girl, I was giving Backstage.com a run for its money, okay? And then here we are. I booked something. Oh my goodness. It's happening. I'm going to be a star. What did I book, you may ask? I was an extra in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I played graduating senior, and there's a tiny, tiny clip where you can see my nose. Yup. Me, Andrew Garfield, and Emma Stone. That was when I knew I was like, I'm going to be a star. I'm just kidding. That honestly, if I'm to tell you anything, when you really, for me, background is hard because I don't know. I feel like if you've ever done background, it's like you're just sitting in the back and you're like, I need a line. I should be doing more. I need to be doing more. Everyone needs to know that I'm an actor and that I can really do this. I'm not just, it's crazy. So I was fresh out of high school. I had done background on a movie, and that was my first introduction to a movie set. And honestly, I think it's 2026. I think it was 13 years ago to the day. I just aged myself if you do the math, but that's okay. I don't care. I look young, so don't even come for me. I think it was 13 years ago to the day that I had been on set for the very first time, and I did background for The Amazing Spider-Man. After that, I had done background for a movie called Nerve with Emma Roberts and Dave Franco, which I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think it's on Amazon or Tubi or something. I love it. I was obsessed with it. You can't see me. You really can't see me in both of these films. But at the time, it was my first introduction. You know, little kid from New Jersey. I did not grow up with a lot of money. So this was the first time that I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, wow, this is like, it's so real. There's Emma. There's Andrew. Now, fast forward, I'm living in LA. I've been here, 7 years now? And I'm like, I'm so desensitized to like celebrities and seeing them and working with them. I had done my first thing. I was on set for the very first time, and I got like a little taste of it. And I was like, oh yeah, I love this. And I had auditioned for TV shows, a lot of singing shows, The Voice, X Factor, Idol, all of those shows. And I had callbacks, me and my friend, we used to sing together. I had callbacks, and I was like, I'm really so close. I was so close, and it just never stuck. And I remember at that time thinking like, I just can't wait. Like, why is life doing this to me? Why dangle something? Why put an idea in my head of me wanting something so bad? And honestly, I still feel this way about the industry. When you want something so bad and you honestly truly believe that you are capable and you are talented, but it feels gatekept. Because I can't get the auditions without the right agent, but I can't get the agent without the right amount of experience, but I can't get the experience without someone taking a chance on me. But okay, how do I show them that I'm skilled without being given the opportunity to work? Okay, maybe that means I need to train. Okay, but to train, I need money, and I don't have money because I don't have a good enough job to afford acting classes, and and it's funny because I felt that way back then, and now it's 13 years later, and I've been on TV. I've literally been on Disney Channel. I've been on Netflix. I've shared scenes with people I idolize, even if they're co-stars, even if they're one-line parts. I've literally done the thing, and I still feel the same way. So that's why I always try to tell people, like, get comfortable in the uncomfortableness of this industry. When you, like, don't spiral, but know that feeling of, like, I'm auditioning, and why am I not? That never goes away. Because once you've done background and you want to do more, there was a day where you might have been excited to get that background audition like I was. I booked a background role and I was so excited. But then after that, you're going to want more. So you're auditioning in a higher level and you're not going to hear anything. Then after you get those one-line parts, now you want that guest star role. You're auditioning, and you're still going to feel, you're always going to feel like the goalpost is moving, because it always will. If you're the type of person who you're not really ever satisfied, I feel like I'm a little bit of like this. I feel like some of my friends are like this. We always want more. And the thing that's great about that is that you will keep pushing yourself. But where you need to be careful is that if you're never satisfied, it's hard to be grateful for what you have and where you're at. Because there was a time where I would have been so grateful to get one-line parts. And now I feel like all I'm getting is one-line parts, and I want to move beyond that. You know what I mean? So it's really all about perspective. And I try to tell people, like, if you're in this industry, you really need to be down to be in it for a long time, because that feeling of wanting more, or feeling like, why am I not getting this? It doesn't really go away, but you have to just, remind yourself more to reframe your mindset, look to your left and your right and be like, I'm good where I'm at. I'm happy with where I'm at and what I'm getting, so that you enjoy the ride. I say this all the time, and people are probably tired of hearing me say it. You have to enjoy the step by step of this. You have to find a way to romanticize the process and really love what you do, because in performing and acting, no matter what you book, once you wrap and that day is over and you're done with that project, you have to start over again. There is no 9 to 5 consistency. I mean, even in this day and age, everybody with these layoffs and the way the job market is right now, that's not really consistent either. But with acting and performing, we always have to start over. Unless you're Eddie Murphy, who I literally think only auditioned for one thing ever in his life, and it was SNL. How crazy. Where was I? What was I talking about this? Having a podcast is going to be hard. What was I saying? So yes, I was auditioning for a lot of things, and I was getting callbacks, and I was like, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to you do this thing. And I was getting so close, but no cigar. And then I started to get angry and I started to get bitter and be like, why am I feeling like this? Like, why even put me close, but I'm never enough? But I see people who are doing it who maybe I don't think are as good, or I really feel like I can do this, but I'm not being given the opportunity. And I, at the time, was performing at a theme park. And I was performing all the time, like 7 days a week. I was doing theme park shows, dancing, singing, acting, whatever it may be, choreographing, whatever, we were doing it for a while. And back then I was like, shouldn't I be doing more? And looking at it now, I'm so grateful for that time in my life where I was like, maybe not grateful for what I had, but now I'm like, oh, that desensitized me so much to auditioning and being in front of a crowd and being in front of cameras and having to do photo shoots. And did I want to get places quicker when I was younger? Yes. But I am very grateful for the things that life has made me crawl through and like really, really work through when I thought like, I want more, I want to be doing this. But now here I am, I'm in LA, I'm doing the thing, and I'm starting to get in rooms with bigger names and bigger people. And I'm like, oh, okay, where I wasn't the most grateful, now I see it was really preparing me for where I am now. People are like, how do you remember lines so well? I used to have to do like theme park shows on the fly and have to do announcements all the time and literally make like in-park announcements. Like, okay, I used to work at like a Six Flags, right? And I used to have to make announcements on the park when they're like, oh, don't forget to check out the Wild Safari here at blah, blah, blah. Those are real people. That was like a real person. I always thought they just pushed a button, which like we probably should have. I feel like y'all could have saved money, but like hire humans. I used to have to do those live throughout the park, and I would be so afraid that I would mess up that I would just memorize them like crazy. So my point being here, and the reason that I'm talking about this in this podcast is that when you're like, I want more, I'm not auditioning for enough, I'm only getting auditions for this, I'm not getting enough for blah, 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 or I want to be doing blah, 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 look around and assess the lesson that you were supposed to learn in that moment. Yeah? It's okay to want more, but look around and be like, okay, what am I supposed to learn right here before I move forward? Because if I go to the next level or I go to the next room, I might not have gotten all the tools I need over here. So let me just lock in and focus real quick. And for me, I think that was performing at a theme park. That was auditioning for things like crazy. It really gave me perspective, and it really just made me so comfortable in front of people that sat behind a, plastic folding table with their laptops, didn't look up, but they were responsible for giving me jobs. It really, really conditioned me to audition. And that's what I tell people when they're like, I'm starting out, I don't know what to do. Do anything. Do something and anything that will get your feet wet, that will give you experience. Do not do it for the sake of like, I need this job and I have to book. Don't go out there and put yourself out there to try to save your own life. Get your feet wet. Dirty? Get your feet wet. Get them dirty. Whatever you want to do with your feet, get out there and just try. You know what I mean? Really, really just learn through experience. So I was working at a theme park and I booked this random theme park gig, and it happened to be in California. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to LA. No, I wasn't. Girl, we were up in the Bay. It was in Santa Clara. It was closer to San Francisco. But to me, a little boy from New Jersey who had never left the country, had only been to like Jersey, Philly, New York, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I'm going to be in California for 6 weeks. Wow. And I'm going to be singing and dancing at a theme park. Whoa. I was like, I'm going to get noticed by a producer. I was like, Jackal Johnson gonna snatch me up. And so I went out to California. I did the 6-week contract, and I was like, my friend was like, I'm going to move to LA. Like, we're going to go to LA. Come with us the last week. And I was like, no, I have to fly home. Like, I have to go home. And I was like, I hadn't bought my ticket home yet. So I was like, maybe, okay, you know what? I'm just going to spend the weekend with y'all. Let's go. Let's go to LA and like, let's see what it's giving. I'm not staying. I'm visiting because I want to see LA and see like the high life, be surrounded by the stars. And, like this is where I'm supposed to be. This was the place that I was doodling about on all my notebooks as a kid. I was like Hollywood. Like I had done projects about this in high school. I wanted it so bad. And I went with them for a weekend to look at places, look at apartments. Child, tell me why I signed a lease. I had one suitcase. I had one more paycheck coming from that theme park, and I had a credit card that I was about to run into the ground. I moved to LA with a suitcase and a dream. People are like, oh, should I do? I'm going to stop you right there. When I tell you I cried every day, moving to LA was the hardest thing I have ever done. It's still hard. It is still hard. LA is different, but I love it so much now. I love LA so much. I need pizza like back in New Jersey. I need to go to like any mom and pop shop and get a slice and have it be good. So if you know where to find that in LA, please drop it in the comments or something. And don't give me no Instagram place where a slice of pizza is $29.95 and it's giving DiGiorno. I need I don't want it to be Instagrammable. I want it to be mom and pop. I want them to yell at me and take a number. I want grease on the paper plate kind of pizza. But anyway, so I moved to LA. And it was me and my best friend. We were sharing an apartment with another person that we met on Facebook. We posted on Facebook and we're like, need a roommate. Met a roommate. We were sharing a room. And when I tell you, this is where I really learned a lot about what this was going to take, because I was working at an ice cream shop. I had no car. I was walking an hour to work every day, scooping ice cream. And I was literally, it felt like I was watching Hollywood through the glass of this ice cream shop, because I was watching people who were doing what I have always dreamed about doing come in and out of this ice cream shop, and I was serving them. And on one hand, I felt so close to everything I've ever wanted, and I also felt so far away, because I was like, no, I'm not supposed to be serving you ice cream. I'm supposed to be the celebrity walking into Salt and Straw. Shout out to Salt and Straw. I feel like a few celebrities have worked at Salt and Straw, so I feel good about letting that be part of my story, so that years from now on an interview, I can be like, yeah, I worked at Salt and Straw too, just like these other celebrities who I can't name off the top of my head because I don't know who, but I feel like other celebrities have worked at Salt and Straw. Anyway, I was working at Salt and Straw, and I was auditioning the same way that on the East Coast I was running backstage into the ground. Now I had stumbled upon a site called Actors Access. And this is what I mean when I literally say I was just figuring it out. I didn't know anyone who had done this. I had friends who were singers. I had friends who were singers. I had friends who were dancers. I was getting to know people, but I had been in LA for about a month, and I was on Actors Access, and I had one headshot, no reel, no media, no resume, nothing attached. I had one headshot that I had took in Philadelphia from one of those mall scouts that scam you when they're like, we can make your son a model. And my mom was like, oh my God, yeah. We went, did the headshot thing, paid way too much money. I got photos, but the next day we came back and it was an empty warehouse, and I was like, whoa, we just got scammed. I had headshots from that on my Actors Access, and I was submitting for for huge shows. I think I submitted for Glee and was like, why aren't they calling me? Girl, look at your page. You have nothing to show. Which now, learning moment, Actors Access. If you are new to Actors Access and you sign up, you need to have a form of media in every area and have every part of that profile filled out to some extent for your profile to go to the top. If not, you are at the bottom. The way that Actors Access does their breakdowns is the people who have every form of media are going to show up on those first few pages of the thousands of people who submitted for this one-line part. So get you a headshot. If you don't have a reel, use an old self-tape or a scene that you've done from an acting class. Get something on I don't care. People are like, well, you can't use it and don't use a self-tape. We're self-taping all the time. Doing a self-tape, if you had a great self-tape, I'm not a casting director, so I'm just going to say that right here. But if you had a great self-tape on your Actors Access and you submitted for a short film or an indie film or a student film, whatever it may be, to get some footage, and I saw a great self-tape, that to me, if I were a casting director, would show me, okay, you have experience, you know how to tape, you have a setup, you know what I mean? So that must mean you're an auditioning working actor. If you have nothing, they can't give you anything. They can't bring you in with nothing. You need something on that website. So when you sign up for Actors Access, make sure you are filling out every single thing you can find on that site. But so I'm new to LA. I'm on Actors Access auditioning for anything. I was auditioning for any commercial, any Instagram ad. I was non-union, so it was easier to get commercial work at the time. And I had gotten callbacks for a few things randomly. I was entering local singing competitions. I was doing anything from anyone that would give me the time of day. And I had booked a children's web series. And I remember, oh my God, it was great. It was non-union and it was so quick. You got paid at the end of the day. And it was right in Burbank and I didn't have a car. So this was perfect. And I was like, this is going to be my big break. Every time I've thought this is going to be my big break, it never was. Girl, even Disney Channel, I was like, this is my big break. Stop waiting for the big break. Just keep working. Just keep working and being happy with the work you're doing and just put out good work. And the world will start to see. Again, I always say, if they don't want to hear from you, make them hear about you. Don't do something and then wait to see if the world clapped. Just do it. Just put out good work and keep going. So I'm doing all these things and I started working at Disney. I got a summer job at Disneyland. I love a theme park, apparently. Just can't stay away. My goodness. I have worked at every theme park under the sun, I feel. But anyway, I was working at Disneyland and I was doing parades and characters and I was dancing there. And I had a choreographer who was also choreographing a local regional production of Kinky Boots. I went to this audition and they were like, can you dance in heels? And I was like, oh my God, of course I can dance in heels. Child, I ain't never put on a heel in my life. I rushed home. I had this call back and I put on this chunky little heel that I bought at like Ross for like $12 the day before. And I was stumbling around my apartment with my roommate and I was like, what am I going to do? So maybe don't lie on your resume or to casting, but also your girl booked the show. I was in the male ensemble. I was not an angel, that's for sure. But I was in the show and I got in that show, I feel like, because the choreographer had seen me work from Disney and now she was doing this show. So, you know, she had told us about the auditions. I went out, love her so much, shout out. And I did this musical and it was my first regional production of anything in Los Angeles. I met another cast member who was writing a series. He was writing a pilot at the time. And there was a character. He said, I really would love you to play it. He was like, I think you're perfect for it. I just want to put you in this. Wow, okay, here we go. I'm working at Disney, I'm dancing, I'm in a musical, I'm meeting people. This is what I mean by just get out there, put yourself out there. No one is gonna come to your front door if they can't find you. No one is delivering your dreams on a silver platter. You have to get out there and look for them. Check under everything, child. So we were out there and I'm doing the pilot, and as I'm filming this pilot, I met a woman who was an agent. She was like, oh, like, who are you with? And I was like, I don't have representation for TV and film. I did have representation for musical theater because during COVID, I entered like an online Instagram live contest, and that's how I got a musical theater agent. They had a TV film department, a commercial department. And while I was filming the pilot, I met one of their TV film agents. She was like, oh my gosh, you're great. Would love to audition you for this agency. That is how I found my first agent in Los Angeles. So people always ask me, Chris, like, what did you do? I can't give you a straight answer to that. I just put myself out there in any way that I could. I auditioned for everything. I showed up everywhere. I stumbled through horrible auditions. I've embarrassed myself in commercial auditions, but you learn. I just really hit the ground running and stumbled until I started to learn how to crawl, until I started to learn how to walk, and then now run. So just get out there and do what you need to do, right? So we filmed this pilot. Now, an agent. I have real footage from this pilot to put on my Actors Access. And now I'm starting to audition for things. And at first I was like, okay, I'm with my first agent. Here we go. I'm so nervous. And they were like, you need real headshots. And I was like, I agree. Because the headshots that I had, I took myself. I took on an iPhone in my kitchen with a ring light against a wall. And I just took pictures myself. Again, do what you need to do. Level with yourself where you're at. You know what I mean? I got some new headshots. We found a photographer in my budget. It worked. I even sent them to my agents and I was like, here's this photographer I'm thinking about getting. What do you think of their work? They were like, I love it. Can't wait to see the shots. I get my first set of headshots. Now I'm working with an agent. I'm auditioning for things like, you know, shorts, different commercials, independent films, smaller roles, of course, because I have literally no experience. But then little things would start to come across where it would be like, untitled streaming series, untitled Netflix short, untitled HBO show. And I was like, okay, oh my gosh, okay, these are big things. They were 1 or 2 line parts, but I was auditioning like crazy. This was like post-pandemic, pre-writer strike. I was auditioning so much. It was such a beautiful time, which is crazy. Was I booking? No, but I was auditioning so much, so I felt validated, and that felt really good. So it felt like a better time in my career, but I've booked so much more now, but back then felt better because I was auditioning more. So then we come around, I book my first co-star, my very first co-star. A co-star is a under 5. It's like a 1 to 5 line part. Usually you are just in a scene. You're not really like, you're like kind of assisting the story in one beat. You're not really contributing to the story or something that's detrimental to like the entire episode. Whereas like a guest star is usually in that episode, usually just for like 1 or 2 episodes. They're a step up from a co-star. They usually are there just to drive the plot. And then you get recurring, you get series reg, principal leads, all that. So my first co-star, it was on a show called All Rise, which was on HBO, and then it was on Oprah's network. Remember Oprah had a network? And my line was, justice for Gigi, justice for Gigi. And I remember at the time I had a bunch of auditions, and it was like one line. And I think I had just finished another audition, and I was like, whatever, let me just do this one. I was like, it's one part, like, it's just one line. I don't even know how to say it. Like, what are the contexts of the scene? Because you don't really get context when you get a co-star audition. They're just, here's the one line, read it. If we like you, we like you. So I read it. I was like, whatever, turned it in. I think by the next morning I had booked the role. And I was like, whoa, my first SAG part. This is my first union. Whoa, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on a real set for a TV show. And of course, it was for an audition that I just threw away. I feel like the ones where I really do character work and I like train and I'm like, I've put in so much work. Like, yes, I've booked those, but the ones that I just throw away, more times than not, they're like, callback, booked. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should just throw them all on tape. Don't do that. Don't listen to me. So I was so new. I remember my first day going to set. It was all the way up in the mountains. I don't know where we filmed, child. It was not like a studio like in Burbank or anything that I had known about. All the way up in the hills. We drive there. We're like COVID testing. I had to get COVID tested like 3 times before. And then I'm in the hills and the producers are like, hey, where are you? And I'm like, I'm here. I'm like, I just got COVID tested. I'm sitting at like, base camp. And they were like, what? And they were like, girl, like why are you not in your trailer? I had no idea what I was doing, but I was doing that thing where like we're new, but we want to pretend that we know everything we're doing. Don't do this if you get to set. When you are new to working on a working set, do not pretend that you know everything. Ask. Really, you guys, really ask around. If you have a question, ask it. If you have to blow up the producer's phone, like be respectful. But like if you're new to this, you can even say like, hey, I'm so excited, can't wait to start on Thursday. By the way, it is my first time ever working on a bigger set like this. So I've actually never done this. So if I could just text you when I get there and you can show me where my trailer is or blah, blah, blah. I just, can I just take 5 minutes to send this contract to my agent so they can look it over? Ask, do what you need to do. Yes, you have one line. You don't feel as important as everyone else who has, so much more screen time, and you don't want to make waves because you're just a co-star for the day and you literally feel like you are jumping into season 4, 5, 6 of something these people do every day and you're there for one day with one line. Still ask, still say what you need to say, still make sure you're comfortable and that you're ready to do a great job, because if you don't, you rush through it and you don't want to make waves and you get on set and you kind of crumble. That's the footage. That's what you have from your first major role. So like, don't waste the opportunity because you want to shrink yourself and you don't want to be a problem and you just want to please everyone. It's really okay to ask a question. That's what people are there for. So, and also like, if you say this is my first time on set, people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, like you have to take a picture of like your little dressing room door and like, don't post anything, but you have to take a picture in like your little costume and like it's your first time on set. This is a big deal. So I was in background holding. I was getting COVID tested at the wrong spot. I didn't know what a honey wagon was. I was like, a honey wagon? What's that? It's a trailer. It's like a smaller trailer. If you're like newer on set, you will. If it says you have a honey wagon, we love that because you have a little trailer to hang out in. But it's I had to get to hair and makeup and all these things, and I was like, I don't know how this goes. Crafty. What's that? There's so much to learn. But that was my first co-star, and then a few months had gone by. I auditioned for another one randomly, and I booked it. This was my second co-star. My first co-star made me SAG eligible, which was a great place to be because I was auditioning for so many SAG things, but I was still able to do non-union work, which was great. But then I got another co-star on a show called Home Economics on Hulu and ABC, and this one was longer. It was 2 days of shooting, and I had to join SAG. When they offered me the role, my agent was like, you have to join like literally by the end of day today. Child, I had no money. We only had one-line parts out here. I wasn't really booking like crazy, but there's a payment plan for SAG that you can do, which was wonderful. I was able to pay that off, and I was officially SAG. And the auditions really, really dwindled because there's less to audition for. You're not going out for non-union commercials. You're going out for big SAG commercials, or you're going out for big SAG projects. You're not up against every other actor in LA. You're now up against every other SAG actor in LA who's like really doing this. So the auditions definitely slowed down, and then we went into the writer's strike, and it was a lot. I literally ended up getting a corporate job. I was doing Taco Bell social media for about like a year or two, and I was still auditioning. I was auditioning regularly, but it was very hard. It was so difficult to juggle a full-time job and then come home at 8:30, 9 o'clock after a full day of work, sitting in 3 hours of traffic in LA, and now I have to do a self-tape for this role that I really want. I really want to get it, but I'm so exhausted from my workday, and now I'm frustrated because the 9 to 5 job that I didn't move to LA to do, but I need money to survive, is taking up all my energy, and now the audition is suffering, and now, well, I can't do both. What do I... Breathe. Breathe. That is exactly where I was at, and I know a lot of people are there because they've told me, like, you guys always say, like, how are you doing? And I'm working full time. I don't have time. And these auditions take so long. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm so sorry to be that person to give you the answer of, like, there was a day that you wanted this. So you're tired, and, like, don't abuse yourself. And not everyone can work the same, but prioritize what you need to prioritize. If you're doing that 9 to 5 and you need the money, also understand that you have time off. If you need to take a day and just be like, I have 3 auditions today and I don't want to cancel them, I really want them, lock in, do what you need to do, try to make time. If it's an audition where you're like, look, I don't need to read for this, I'm going to pass for this because I am really exhausted and I need to get to bed because I do have work tomorrow and they are paying my bills. And that was the thing that was hard for me that I learned about, like, agents and reps when you first moved to LA. Everyone is always like, when your agent sends you something, you have to do it. It is end all be all. Yes, this is a working relationship, but also they work for you. They are on your team to get you where you want to go. Yes, they make money off of you booking, but I did not gel well with any reps who were like, oh, well, you have an audition tomorrow. And I'm like, I have work. I can't go. This is like, if I miss work, I'm going to get fired. And they're like, well, then maybe you don't need reps right now. Well, how does that work? Because last week I was on set for you 3 times. So, you know what I mean? It's a give and take. And I think find the right reps, find the right working relationship to be able to communicate to each other when you are finally at that spot where you're looking at reps, or if you're in a spot right now where you know you have reps that you're like a little afraid of reaching out to. Really try to find reps where you can be comfortable in a relationship and nurture that relationship, because it'll get you both so much further. If you have reps that you're afraid to contact to decline an audition, or you're afraid to book out, it's just... that's only going to last so long. So thankfully, I have great reps and I have found my team. I have built them out. But that took a while. That took me auditioning for a bunch of things. It took me booking, more co-stars and being able to work my way up to being ready for a manager, a different agency. So be it. I don't remember where I was at in my story. Oh, I'm working at Taco Bell. So I'm working at Taco Bell full-time, juggling corporate life. It was very hard. I was so exhausted, probably more tired than I had ever been. And I was auditioning for really big things. And I'll be honest, I felt like I wasn't in the right headspace to be booking those things because I was spread way too thin. And my anxiety was getting really, really bad. And I was struggling with, like, literally just day to day, not being able to lock in and just being all over the place. So again, this comes back to, like, prioritizing what works for you. Some people can really run themselves into the ground. Some people cannot. Please just, like, don't abuse yourself just to achieve your dreams, because you have to take care of yourself in your day to day, because when you break, it's going to take so much longer to put yourself back together. So it's okay if you can bend a little bit, if you could take it, sure. But again, don't abuse yourself. There's going to be more auditions. There's going to be, if you don't audition for Bikini Girl number 3 on Beywatch, that's okay. That's okay. If you have to ask for an extension because you are working, or if you have to say, hey, I can't get that tape to you by Monday on 2 p.m. because I'm going to be at the office, but I can get it to you by Tuesday at 9 a.m. and you can do it Monday night. Just ask. Just ask. The worst thing people will say is, sorry, we can't accommodate that. And guess what? Okay, thank you so much. You keep it moving, because there's always going to be more opportunities. But I know when you get that audition and they're few and far between, it feels like this is your chance to save yourself from the life that you're not happy in right now. This is art. This is creative. This is TV. This is film. This is acting. Or at the very least, it's a granola bar commercial and you're in the car crashing out because you might have to record it in the bathroom at the airport because your family vacation came up. And of course, now is the day that you got a call back. It's okay. Last year I went to Europe for the first time and I booked out, but my manager was like, I'm still going to send you auditions. And I think I had 12 auditions in the week that I was gone. I I have never had that much. Girl, I was in this tiny little Paris hotel. Oh, loved this hotel. And I'm like having my boyfriend hold the camera and the lighting. And I'm like, okay, so it's an episode of like, it was some procedural, like Law and Order, NCIS. And I'm like, okay, the scene is I just got in a car accident. I think I ran someone over on Halloween and I'm crying and you're the EMT. And so, okay. And then we have to be at the Eiffel Tower for dinner by 6. And I was sitting there and he's holding the ring light and the camera and I'm filming in my audition and I was getting callbacks. So that's another thing that I want to touch upon. Okay, when you guys are like, oh, I don't have the right setup or I don't have the lighting and we have to do everything and casting said they want my full body like this and if they don't get it like that. If they want you for this role, they are going to book you for this role. If I can see you and hear you in your self-tape and you do a great job, they don't care. Do they have their preference on how they review their tapes? Yes. Sometimes you do get things from casting that are like, if you don't do it like this, we won't review it. Okay, well, girl, I'm working with what I got right now. So if you want me, you're going to review it. If you don't, give it to someone else. And people are probably like, but that's a privilege to look at it that way. Some of us need these auditions. I understand. But this is a give and take, and we are in this for the long haul. So, like, again, don't abuse yourself. That's just crazy. Homeboy from Sinners. He auditioned in his basement. Ryan Coogler was like, we could barely see him. Like, you didn't want to turn a light on. And he said, but as soon as he started singing, they were like, oh, yeah. Jonathan Bailey auditioned for Wicked, I'm pretty sure, in his dressing room of another show while he was being called to stage. And I understand, like, these are bigger names, but, like, not all of them. The boy from Sinners, that was his first film. I've done auditions in a Disneyland bathroom. I've done them in my car, and I've gotten callbacks. I've gotten pinned. I've gotten booked. So, just breathe and do what you got to do. We didn't really sign up for an easy process. We didn't sign up for something that was safe and concrete. We signed up for the messy, crazy, non-linear route to success. So let's do it. You are doing the thing that you've always wanted to do. Younger, you would be so gagged to know, I have an agent. I'm taking meetings. I'm going in for Netflix shows. I'm going in for Disney. I'm going in for HBO. Like, you know what I mean? And if you're not there yet, push yourself to get to that point where you are there. Because remember the time where now you're like, okay, I'm looking at auditions. I'm signing up for casting sites. There was a time where even that was so far off. So you know what I mean? Like, just really meet yourself where you're at and just one step at a time. Lay a brick a day. A brick a day. You cannot build the whole house in one day, mama, so lay a brick and you will be so shocked by how quickly that house is standing. But yes, so back to 2025. Now it's 2025. I'm still working that corporate social media life, and I got an audition for a movie musical. My dream. I grew up on the Cheetah Girls High School Musical, another Cinderella story. Drew Seeley is like my idol. Love him down. Vocals for days. And I got an audition for this movie musical, and I was like, okay, cool. And I told my friends, I was like, guys, you should all read for this. It's an open casting call for a movie musical. Sure. You know what I mean? Like SAG, non-union, they were seeing both. I auditioned for a role, got a callback. Got a callback for the part that I auditioned for and another part. I've read both of those callbacks. They then came back again and said, we want you to read for the other part one more time. This is like my third or fourth callback. Then I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, there's no way. My friend, callback. And we were sitting on his rooftop, and I remember stalking the director because I'm crazy. Looked the director up on Instagram, and I saw that she was like storyboarding the film. And I was like, okay, like that's the classroom. Like we're going to be in that classroom. And we were sitting on his rooftop, and child, I don't know if you believe in manifestation. If you don't, sure, take what you need, leave what you don't. But I was like, we're going to be in this movie. I had ordered sushi. We watched the sunset, and I was like picturing it. I go to New York for work. I'm like having a crazy week, and he had a callback. I did not. And I was like, I didn't get it. Then they messaged me like 2 weeks later. They were like, hey, we want you to come into a live callback. We want to just hear you sing and meet you, and we're going to read through the sides for this character, the first character that I auditioned for. And I was like, okay. This is now, I have auditioned for 3 different characters. This is like my 5th callback. My friend is doing chemistry reads, and I'm like, what is going on? Which just goes to show, whenever we're trying to figure out what casting and production wants, you never know. So just let it go, show up, and just do good work. So I go into the callback. I felt great about it. I went in, and it was an in-person callback, which was nice. And it was for a movie musical. And a lot of people in the waiting room were like, I tell my agent all the time, don't send me out for musicals. And like so many people were so nervous. And I was like, I'm just here. I'm excited. Like I wasn't really nervous, which I think comes from the training that I had doing high school theater, doing local theme park shows, doing things that to me at the time felt like small itty bitty things that didn't matter and I should be doing more. But look at the training and the foundation they gave me for moments like this, because I was like, oh no, this is my wheelhouse. I'm excited. I go in, I read for them, I sang, I think twice, and they were like, we're not going to dance you. They were like, we know, we've seen your Instagram, which actors, if you are on social media, post stuff on social media, post your skills, post what you do. If social media is not your thing, that is okay. I'm not going to force you to do something that's not your thing. Don't be inauthentic to yourself. But social media is literally like an active reel that production can look at and just see, like, what do you do? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you draw? Do you ride bikes? Do you do stunt work? Are you a black belt? All things that casting will see, and it can really, really help you. I had a lot of dance videos on my Instagram. They did not even put me through the dance rounds. God bless. Oh, yes. So I read, had a great time, walked out of the audition, and I was like, I don't know. Like, do I think I got it? I don't know. I really don't know how I felt in that moment. But I was like, it's done, and that's that. It's out of my hands. I have work in the morning, and that's it. Keep going, because I can't sit there and hyperfixate on everything that happened in the room, because it's done. I can't change it. And so a few weeks went by and I was like, I did not book this movie. You have got to be kidding. And I was like, whatever. And I was sitting on my bed. I think I had just come home from Chipotle, and I got an email from my manager. Oh my gosh, I never told you how I got my manager. I'll tell you about that in a sec. Got an email from my manager, and she was like, hey, I don't remember submitting for you for this, but we have an offer. And the reason she didn't remember submitting me for it is because I had self-submitted to the open call on casting networks. Again, if you're new to this, Actors Access, casting networks, both great to be on, both where you can self-submit and start getting your self-work if you don't have agents and reps. So I self-submitted to this open call movie musical, and we got an offer for a role in the movie, and it was none of the roles that I had auditioned for. And I asked the director, I said, thank you so much. Obviously, I'm so excited. I ran around the house. I couldn't believe this. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in a movie. But I didn't recognize the character's name. I was like, who is this? I don't know if I read for this. Before I accept the role, I just would love some context. The character did not exist. The character did not exist, but they enjoyed me and meeting me and me auditioning the whole time, i.e., this explains why I auditioned for like 4 or 5 different roles. They did not know where to put me, but they really wanted me on this project. So they wrote a role into this movie for me, which, like, whoa. Like, and that's why I tell people, like, just do good work. And this is also why, like, I don't want people to get discouraged and be like, well, no one's written me into something, and that just means I guess I didn't do good enough. No. Every co-star that I've ever booked, every role that I've ever booked, it was because I had auditioned for that team many times before. And often casting is like, we really love you so much, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, why didn't I book it? Girl, stop. Stop trying to, like, water down the compliments that they're giving you. If they're telling you these things, they are not just for you to hear. They don't have the time to just gas you up. Like, they don't need to. This is LA. They can find what they need. But so many times casting is like, we wanted to book you on this for so long, it just didn't work out. We wanted to book you for many different things. That is why the phrase book the room, not the audition, is so important. Because when I did home economics, I had auditioned for them for like 3 other things before, which meant someone in that casting process liked me and kept bringing me in for different things. You just have to wait for one to stick, you know? That's why I always say, just do good work. If you don't get the audition, if you don't get the job, if you don't book it, that's okay, because the thing that you needed was the audition. That was your way in. That was a group of people. That was somewhere going, yeah, I believe you could play this part. I could see them doing this. Let's see what they got. They give you a shot, and if you don't book that one, you don't know if you might book the next one because you auditioned for this one. They might see you in a whole different light, or be like, oh, I didn't think about you going in for this part, or Chris, we made you read for 5 different parts, and on part 3, we found out that your comedy was really strong, so we wrote this in for... You never know. So just show up, do what you do well, and really, truly be confident in who you are. Because when you're thinking, what does casting want? What can I do like to book this job? You might be changing something about yourself, your demeanor, your energy, or the way that you play a certain character. While it may not even be what they were looking for, you might show them that you're great for a role the 3 weeks from now. So just put good work out, just believe in yourself and have confidence, and casting will see that and they will remember your face and start to call you in again and again and again, and might write you in to a movie musical. Also came to find out that who was in this movie musical? Drew Seeley, who I grew up loving, watching, and now here I am going, I can't believe I didn't book this movie. Like, I knew it. I didn't do this right. Girl, you did something right, because they wrote you into this film and you are now working with a childhood idol of yours from High School Musical, Another Cinderella Story. Oh, we stand Drew Seeley in this house, y'all. Stream his new music. He is releasing so much new music right now, and I need y'all to go listen to it. But that's what I'm saying. It's just really, really just give a great audition, because the thing that you auditioned for today could book you something a year from now, you know? So I booked that movie musical. I had the most amazing time filming filming a movie musical. Oh my God. And then doing that musical, I auditioned for another regional production of Wedding Singer and got to be in that. So that was rehearsing while I was filming. All of this meant that because I was working, I had to quit my full-time job. And I have to tell you, I was at a coffee shop and I was sitting there, I was writing, and I took a meeting with my boss because we were like, I was going to take time off and do filming. And then it was like, hey, so you either need to come back to work tomorrow or you have to quit. And I was like, we've already started filming. This was the highest paying job I'd ever had. It was consistent. It had benefits. And here I was quitting to do a movie that wrapped filming in 15 days. Dough. I was so nervous, but again, I was terrified, absolutely terrified. I had the privilege of jumping from the movie right into another regional production of Wedding Singer in Burbank, which was so much fun. I missed musical theater so much, but it just is such a demanding schedule. And they don't be paying the way they need to be paying. Ugh. Theater is hard because theater demands so much of you, and I feel like theater gets paid the least, but that's a conversation for another day. While I was filming the musical, I got called in for a Disney Channel audition. And I was like, whoa. My manager sent it to me. I was at rehearsal for the musical, and she was like, hey, I got a really big audition coming your way. I think you're going to love it. I used your Instagram to pitch you. That's what she told me. She took a singing video off of my Instagram and sent it to casting and was able to pitch me. She pitched me for this show. The show was Electric Bloom on Disney Channel. I had to play Lil Rowdy, who was a rapper in a radio song competition. And at the end of the audition, I had to improv a rap. It was like, do the scenes, improv this rap, and that then will end the scene. I did it. I got the call back. And when I got the call back, I was like, I might want to coach this audition. For those of you who are newer to the industry in this process, you can hire like coaches who will work through the script with you. They'll work through the material. This specific coach, my manager said she had experience with multicams and Disney Channel type shows. So she was like, I really think you should read with her. And money is tight as an actor. When you're starting out, money is tight. You have to, girl, gas is like $50, $11 right now. And to coach and go to class and pay for self-tape stuff and no one has money. I was like, look, I can afford the coaching session. It's not going to set me back, but I think I can book this without coaching. But my mindset was just coach it, because if you don't coach it and you don't book it, my mind is going to spiral and I'm going to think, did I not get that because I didn't coach it? If you coach it, you spend the $75, you do book it, even if you don't get anything out of the coaching session that you think was valuable, at least you can be secure in knowing you did everything you could to book this audition. It put me in such a great mood right before my session. And I think even like if I hadn't like learned anything like crazy or super factual, it just paying that amount to work your scene with someone, clear your head, build your confidence, and then go on to a Zoom call with Disney Channel and feel good about myself, that was worth it. If you're looking to coach an audition, that was my approach to it. I don't know if that helps you, great. If it doesn't, love that for us. Auditioned for Disney Channel, and I think 2 days later I found out that I had booked the role. And That was a big one for me because I grew up watching Disney Channel and it was a dream that I had kind of given up on. The same way that I had given up on like singing and acting and dancing to an extent. We don't really have to like go down that road or pull on that thread. To an extent, I felt like when I was younger and I was auditioning for X Factor, The Voice, American Idol, all of these things, I was getting so close and then just not booking. And then part of me started getting results from acting quicker. So I switched gears and I went that way. And I missed it so much. And that's why I think last year being able to do a movie musical with people and artists that I admired so much, it was really, really like healing for childhood me and for the kid who like thought, okay, maybe I am not good enough to be on these singing shows. And then now I was like, oh, I didn't need that. I didn't need that. I was able to do it without that. So this is another point to say when you're auditioning for something so many times. I have a lot of friends who are like, I'm auditioning and you know what, I'm like, sometimes I think like maybe I just need to be done. Maybe I need to pivot. Maybe it's just not meant for me because clearly people don't want this from me, you know? You never know how the world is going to give you everything you've ever wanted. It might be wrapped in different paper. It might not have the color bow you thought it was going to have on top, but life can give you the gifts that you have always asked for. They just might look a little different. There's so many ways to get to where you want to go. Sometimes we don't see every route. So when we're on a different route, it feels like, well, no, I'm trying to go over there. I'm trying to do what they're doing. I'm trying to be just like that artist. And life is like, no, girl, I need you over here. I need you over here. This is your path. You can't see it yet, but that's how you're going to get there. So sometimes you have to trust that like, hey, this journey doesn't look like what I thought it was going to look like, but I'm still going exactly where I plan to go. My eye is still set on the target. I can't really see how I'm going to get there. It's a little foggy right now, but I know that the road is leading that way, and just embrace those different things. I had given up on the thought of being on Disney Channel years ago. It was a childhood dream for me, and I was like, but it didn't happen when I was 15. I didn't blow up on the internet and become the next Justin Bieber. That's what, girl, that's not where you were supposed to go. And I don't know what life would have looked like if say I had moved out here so much younger and I didn't know the things that I had known. I didn't go through the trials and tribulations that I had to go to give me the armor that I now have to be able to tell y'all about my acting journey and tell y'all about the things I've done in my life. I might not have had the skin that I need right now back then, you know? So just if you know where you want to go, trust that you can get there without seeing the direct route, because the route you might be trying to take might be delaying the one that is meant for you. So just please be open to different routes. But this leads me to how I got my manager. So while I was auditioning for everything right before Disney Channel, a producer had reached out. I had done a different auditions for The Voice, X Factor, all of those things. Like I think Making the Band was coming back and I had auditioned for that. And a producer reached out to me on a random day. Again, book the room, not the audition. She was like, we're putting together this new Netflix show and I really think you would be perfect for it. And I was like, do I want to do this? Do I want to go through this competitive singing again? Do I want to go through it? Because I had done it and I've gotten so close, and it's a lot. It's months and months and months of auditions and being called in for producer sessions and all these different things. And tell us about your entire life story. Tell us about every struggle you've ever had. Send us baby pictures. And you really start to think like, oh my gosh, this is my big break. Again, stop waiting for that big break, because the big moment of relief and savior that you're looking for, it's not coming. You know, it's every time you think you get that big break, it's going to look different. It's going to feel different. She was like, it's a show called Building the Band. And I was like, okay. I auditioned for, I think, like 6 months of back and forth Zoom meetings, auditions, sending dance combos, sending singing videos, interviews, the whole thing. I had the final audition in LA, and it was like in a hotel room, and I remember being escorted upstairs to my it was in a hotel, not in a hotel room. Oh my gosh. I had been escorted upstairs to my hotel room to wait, and I remember feeling so dope. And I got a manager because I was like, I can't go through this experience without like a right-hand man or right-hand woman. My manager, I love her down. Annie, shout out to you. I had found her through Actors Access Talent Link, and we interviewed. And I really, you know, I've just really felt comfortable with her, and it felt like a closer relationship than an agent, which to me a manager should. And a manager is going to oversee like your entire career. An agent is going to submit you for bookings and handle like legal paperwork. A manager is going to oversee everything. They're gonna pitch you to things. This is why you need Chris Bey. This is why you need this person. So I auditioned, got so close, and it didn't happen. I did not get it. I got to the very last step you could get to literally before being on the show and didn't get it. And I was like, and again, I slipped back into that old mindset of like, why dangle it right in front of my face? Why didn't I get this? Like, come on, And then come to find out later that year, I'm going to be in a movie musical with Drew Seeley. I'm going to be singing and dancing on Disney Channel. I'm going to be on in a musical with celebrities from Glee that I grew up watching. Again, you need to be open to different routes and be open to how life may bless you, because you never know. You never know. You're looking over here going, why don't I have this? And life is like, wait, we putting this in front of you, girl. Open your eyes. Hello? So you have to be open. You have to be flexible. And that was last year. That was the last year of my performing career, and things got slow again. I wasn't auditioning as much. I wasn't working as much, and I needed a full-time job. So in all transparency, I got another 9 to 5, and that's where I'm at now. And I'm again back to juggling the life of auditions and oh my gosh, and I have a self-tape, but I was just in the office all day, and it is what it is. I'm in the office one day, and then I'm on set with Kathy Bates the next day. I'm doing self-tapes for commercials and one-line parts, and then I'm going and filming the poster for the movie musical that I did last year. So it's never what you think it's going to be. Sometimes you're down here and you feel like you're on top of the world. Sometimes you're up here and you feel crazy. My advice is, it's never going to look or feel the way that you think it's going to feel. So just learn to love your life in your career and outside of your career, so that when you're not booking, you are happy to just live your life because you love the life that you've built. When you are booking, great. Keep going, keep showing up. And if you really want to do this for a while, you're just going to keep auditioning. You're just going to keep working. So enjoy it. Again, this is your dream. Don't forget to enjoy it. This is fun. I'm going to like this. I think I'm going to like having a podcast. I'm so excited to bring guests on and like start doing like cute little segments and do Q&As with y'all. I'm going to be asking a lot more Q&As on my Instagram. So if you found me on YouTube, make sure to follow on Instagram as well. If you found me on Instagram, hello, welcome to YouTube and the podcast. Subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'm going to keep building this out. I'm going to feature more guests. I'm going to do a lot more episodes. A lot of you guys said you wanted an episode on auditions for things that I didn't book but almost booked, which could be fun. I want to do like a self-tape review episode where I go through old self-tapes and watch them with friends, or like we watch each other's old self-tapes and see what we booked and what we didn't book, or even just watch the self-tapes for things that we have booked and evaluate those. But there's so many different episodes I want to do. Please drop comments. Let me know what you want to see more of. Make sure to subscribe. Everything that I use for my self-tape setup is linked in my bio on every social media site. I also do offer one-on-one time if you need a reader. If you just need to chat and you're like, I'm new to this, I just want to have a one-on-one Q&A, I also offer that as well. The link is in my bio. Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to do many more episodes. Don't forget, this is your dream. Remember to enjoy it. Break legs, sending bookings, blessings, and good vibes. Peace out, y'all.